Okay, we've got a few more that are slowly coming in, but I'm going to go ahead and get started, guys.
Yep.
I'm going to put a presentation up on the screen. This is the same presentation that I gave down in Boston a month or so ago to LMN Mastermind group. It was a great group. It was a ton of fun. And kind of today's format is really just going to be I'm going to run us through the presentation. And when I get done, we'll have a little Q&A. Anybody can ask questions. If you've got something kind of during the presentation, just jump on and let me know, and we can stop and chat about it. Um, but yeah, today we're going to be talking about partnerships, and we're going to start out with what is a partnership. This is the dictionary definition. A partnership is a business or organizational relationship where two or more individuals, groups, or entities agree to work together towards a common goal. So pretty straightforward. Um, the definition kind of really outlines what we're talking about. What do we want in a good relationship or a good partnership? And it's funny, I often analyze this or use the analogy of creating a partnership is kind of like dating, but with a different outcome. Um, I think you kind of still go through the same process. You're looking for somebody who's like-minded, somebody who shares the same values, has similar goals, and also a partnership that brings value to both sides. This line below is something that has stuck with me for many years. People want to do business with people they like. I think often people in business try to be somebody who they are not to try and generate conversation or generate a partnership. I think just being yourself and being honest with the other person is a much better way to go about it. Sure, there's going to be times where you need to enhance things or have a conversation that maybe is a little uncomfortable for you, but helps the partnership. So keep these things in mind when you're creating. So this is kind of a list of what type of partnerships do we want. I've got family listed as number one. That should be number one on everybody's list. And ultimately, even if our family is not in the business, they are still our partners. Vendors, we need partnerships with for obvious reasons. And the strength of a good partnership with a vendor outweighs a lot of other things. When you have years like we've experienced, even as recently as last year, where market's a little tougher, closing deals is a little tougher, being able to have conversations. Oh, sorry, guys. Lost you for a second. Where is that gone?
Yeah, you're back now.
Perfect. You got there we go. We're back. Vendors, equipment and vehicle providers are pretty much the same. Um, we did a deal earlier this year with Bobcat. We've been a Bobcat purchaser for 17 years now. And not for any reason other than we get amazing service from them. We obviously love the product as well, but when it comes down to it, and everybody's got an argument about truck versus Ford or Chevy or Bobcat versus Cat or Deere. But ultimately, that relationship comes down to service and compatibility. Throughout this process, we were able to negotiate many different things, such as never more than 4 hours delay. If we had a machine down, they're bringing us another one. We did a 3-year lease, which is a different way to do it, but it's really worked well for our model. So we flip our equipment every 3 years. But being able to just have that good relationship, partnership, really allowed us to increase not only our negotiating skills with them, but just provide such more value to us and to our customers. Customer partnerships, I mean, these are beneficial for obvious reasons. Sub trades, this is a big one. Like vendors and like your equipment providers, when you have a strong relationship with a sub trade, and you do have that tight job, or you're doing work for a builder that you're trying to make a relationship with, and you need to shave some costs on your project, being able to go to your sub trades, whether it's your mason or your pool person, or maybe it's your irrigation and lighting provider, and just have a conversation about trying to build that relationship. They might be able to give you a little bit of a break, and help close that deal, which will hopefully lead to more deals. The bank, obviously, the bank is a big part of it. Um, Being close with your representative at the bank and having open conversations about what you need and what your requirements are. Um, Being able to take advantage of opportunities when you have funding in place or a line of credit in place, whether that's for a piece of equipment, hiring more, investing, marketing, um, any of those types of things. It is certainly beneficial. Um, we've got a long list of other people on the side here, and I want to jump to the business coaches. Business coaches, I mean, there's a lot of great relationships out there. There's a lot of people, especially when you're younger in business, it's a little bit harder to justify paying a business coach. What I can say for sure is that I still use a coach. I've changed coaches over the years as my business has grown. As I've grown as a leader, things have changed. My requirements have changed. My new goals have changed. But investing in a coach creates a lot of value for a lot of reasons. One is time. Having somebody who's been there and done it will amplify your time frame dramatically. I often say that if I would have started with a coach earlier in my career and my entrepreneurial journey, I think I really could have sped things up by 5 to 10 years quite easily. And generally, the cost of a business coach is um, pretty low in compared to the ROI you can potentially receive. So coaches are always great. Competitors, I mean, this is one that, people often think they don't need partnerships for. And maybe partnerships for competitors is um, a little bit more than what we're trying to say, but having relationships with your competitors to be able to have conversations about, you know, square footage prices, what their labor rates are going to be this year, how they're charging out for equipment. Um, just having that relationship, it doesn't have to be so much about pricing, but it can be a lot about, when you're pricing the same project, you can have the conversation about whether it's a right fit. Was there an existing relationship? Um, but just being able to have those conversations is a big win as a business owner. Our teams, the team relationship, like good culture, that partnership is probably one of the strongest ones next to family. Without your team, sorry, go ahead. Oh, somebody, um, yeah, without your team, you're really going to struggle to have any real momentum. And I think the stronger you can make that culture through your partnership, the stronger team you'll have, and ultimately better team, better production, better projects, better customers, better payers, all that type of stuff just flows through your team. Professionals, so this is more partnerships with like people like your accountant, your lawyer, people that we need not very frequently, but we want to make sure we maintain a good relationship with them. Partners, maybe you have a business partner. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's somebody that you've acquired in the past, but keeping and developing relationships with your partners is another key way to improve your business. It strengthens your business, especially when you're aligned. Um, and lastly, I have real estate agents. Real estate agents, I think, are one of the strongest partnerships any landscaper can have, especially if you're in the maintenance area. Um, Being able to have conversations with realtors that you've worked for in the past or with in the past, offer them, you know, maybe it's maybe it's a discounted rate for the staging process to help them sell the property quicker. Getting the referral from them when the new customer buys. Maybe it's an enhancement. Maybe it's the property needs remulching and some planting added to make it shine for the open houses. But creating relationships with real estate agents And I think this is good for anybody, whether you're doing less than 1 million a year or 10 million a year. A lot of our great projects come from realtors, and a lot of our great opportunities also come from realtors. So they are also key in the partnership realm. Who is your right fit partner? So this is where you really need to sit back. And again, this whole presentation about partnerships, guys, is needs to be used as a tool to help develop your business. And if you've got a growth strategy, creating partnerships with right fit people that have the right fit projects, the right size projects, these are easy metrics to help you hit your growth goals. So, what businesses in your area generate the most ideal work for you? This could be a general contractor, an architect, a landscape architect, a developer, township. If you're doing commercial work, township or city office would be a great place to start. A property manager would be great for a maintenance company, especially if they want to do more estate or larger property type maintenance, or a commercial property manager. So that list of people, you know, is dramatic and will dramatically change your business if you have a good relationship with each of those. Even if it's only two or three of each, you can build a hell of a business from that. What end user in your area is the best customer slash partner? And a lot of this revolves around where you are logistically, where does that ideal customer or partner live? What do they do? Um, what type of property they have? How old is it? Do they currently have a maintenance company? Do they have a lighting or irrigation system? And that list goes on. What sort of upgrades do they need? Do they have audio? Depending on your business, this is how you find the right fit people, by really focusing and dialing down where they are, what they do, and how they do it, and then trying to figure out how you can benefit them and create some value there. So, how to connect with partners. This is probably the harder part for most entrepreneurs. Um, I think you can make it harder than it has to be. But if you're a relatively outgoing person and are happy to talk to new people, I think there's a lot of great opportunity for just reach outs. So socials is obviously the most casual, easiest way to reach your people. I'm not really here to talk about socials today, but I think one of the biggest things when you are on socials is just to be honest with your content. Show them what type of work you do, why your business is different, why you're passionate about it. But be real and be um, just be really honest about what your goals are, because people will see that in your socials, especially if it's consistent, and consistency is what it's all about for socials. And honestly, it's really the only place that we um, advertise that much anymore. So doing a good job with your socials is a key to creating more partnerships. Where do they hang out? We've got a list of things here. What events do they like to go to? Do you know anyone that knows them? Are the kids on the same swim team, ball team, football team, etc.? These are all questions to just ask yourself. And again, this is all area specific. Um, where we are, we're in a relatively small town. We have a population of about 25,000 that goes to like 100,000 in the summer. So often, a lot of the relationships I was able to make with suppliers, sub trades, even customers to an extent came through relationships with other people. And it was just a great way to meet and connect people. Watch what they post. If you follow a builder that you're interested in doing work with, or an architect that you're interested in doing work with, um, figure out what they do and where they go. Maybe there's opportunity to find a connection, whether it's through a sponsorship or a silent auction item, some advertising at places they hang out, or the golf course that they may play at, the garden center they may use. Anything to get your name in front of them on a frequent basis is key. Get your name circulating in places they like to be. Same sort of premise. Whether that's conversations through community, whether that's you know, going to community events, whether it is via your children and their swim team, hockey team, Baseball team, those are great ones. Whole sponsorships. There's a lot of great ways, and when you really step back and start thinking about how to make these connections, or at least make a opportunity for a conversation, um, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So put some effort into it, see what works for you. Making direct contact. So this is where it starts to get a little bit tougher, but this is also where the opportunities come. Reach out via email, text, Instagram. Let them know you admire something they do. This is more a comment just about, if you are following them on Instagram or Twitter, to like or make comments about stuff that you generally like about what they're doing, is one way. People love to hear that people are interested in what they're doing. It's also a great way to start a conversation. You can ask for a lunch, a breakfast, a coffee, a golf game, whatever it takes to make that connection. Come up with a strategic plan to reach out again. And this is something. I've got a new design company that we started a year ago. And one thing that's been very successful for us is we built out a 3-week touch point. So we've got a list of over 100 people that we are working with or trying to work with. And we make sure that whether it's a DM, email, we've sent pizzas, we've dropped off donuts, we've dropped off new catalogs, samples, um, but anything like that, but be consistent with it. That is probably one of the biggest takeaways from today when you're trying to build a new partnership, is be consistent with your effort. It doesn't have to be in their face or constantly asking for work. It can just be conversations. It can be items that they're going to enjoy or hear about to just get them thinking about you a little bit more. Um, when you do finally get the meeting, be yourself. Don't ask for work unless it comes up. Talk about them, ask about them, learn about them, teach them about you, teach them what you're passionate about in your business or your family. Create more of a connection than just business, because I think that is the ultimate goal. Because when you have good partnerships with the right people that have the right fit work, price becomes a little less important to the end user. So these partnerships are really, really the key. Talk about your hobbies. Hopefully you can find something that you're both like-minded in. It doesn't always have to be with the owner. So this was more a comment. If you have a relationship with one of their site supers, project manager, one of their assistants, somebody that works for them, um, don't hesitate to try and work that angle as well. And when I say work angle, it sounds a little bit um, dirty, but you know what I mean. It's just try and create an opportunity for a conversation through that person. Put effort and thought into your email. What's it saying? What's it telling them? Take a different approach. If someone were to call me, what would I say? I use this thing in Boston where if I get a new subcontractor in the area that reaches out to me for work, and it really is just saying, hey, we're new to the area, we're looking for work, here's our hourly rate sheet. I often don't get any further than that. However, if I get a DM or an email from somebody saying, hey, we're new to the area, we really like the work you guys are doing, would love to come check out one of your sites sometime, we're going to make that happen, whether that's with me or one of my PMs. And then we're going to be asking them for the rate sheet. If we feel like they're a right fit and they're capable of doing the work soundly and the way we would like it done, then we're more than happy to have that conversation and if nothing else, give it a try. At the bottom here, I wrote, don't forget, you can't build great partnerships doing shit work. Great partnerships become great because the partners trust each other and know what their partner is going to deliver. So, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You can't have these high expectations of the type of work you want to do if you can't do it. Far too often, I've seen companies that are not built, and when I say built, they can likely do the work. Where they usually struggle is on the communication, change orders, following detailed design. Um, so sometimes you not be careful what you wish for, but the work that you want to get to, make sure that you are ready to do it. because the worst thing that can happen is you get that break or you get a great opportunity, and you're thrown into this amazing project and you're underprepared and you underdeliver. So make sure you're ready. A couple of thoughts here. Make sure your partnership works for you. Once it's built, be sure it works both ways. As these things evolve, they need to be nurtured. Just because you've made the connection, it's not over. Think of creative ways. It's no different than building culture in your business. You got to be diligent and create trackable systems to make sure you're maintaining. This year, for me, I had a goal of doing 30 lunches with existing customers or partners. So some of them were vendors, some were sub trades, builders. I think I actually only got to 19, but it was 19 more than I had done last year. And I probably had 6 or 7 golf games that were really good. Not the golf, but the partnership strengthening. Um, so again, make sure you're maintaining these partnerships once you get them. And again, be honest, be yourself. Make sure you're creating for both of you. You've got to have a two-way street. Partnerships can differ company to company. And again, this is more about what is the right fit for you. If I'm in a new area doing residential lawn care, I'm going to want to partner with companies that build subdivisions or companies that build a lot of homes in a year. I'm going to want to look for tight logistics. How do I focus on one area? Do I discount that area to keep it more productive and efficient? If I'm in estate maintenance, I'm probably going to look for property managers that manage estates. I'm going to try and make a connection with them. I'm going to try and offer them something to give me an opportunity on one of their sites. We've got design build, we've got construction companies, pool installer, irrigation lighting. All of these companies are going to have a different avenue. So I think when looking at what partnerships you want to create, first look at who is your right fit, what is the right fit work for you, and make sure that those details are really the premise of the partnership. Here I did a bit of a scenario. So this is a scenario that I had used for Muskoka landscapers. And this is really just to show you how to make your partnerships trackable. So 2024, we did roughly 47 projects at 227,000 average. Keeping in mind, 47 projects is actually a lot for us, but it's because a lot of those projects would have been, a patio addition or something for an existing customer. Um, Gross income 10 million. Our goal over the next 5 is to grow to 15. So I know that we need roughly 5 new jobs a year. And the partnerships that I'm looking for, I could likely make a new partnership with customers or architects that I could get $1 million job from. But the reason I'm going to look for 5 $220 to $250,000 job partnerships is because those projects generally are a little they're not as technical. There's not going to be as many sub trades on site. They're going to be likely more willing to wait, so it'll fit our schedule better. It's probably a renovation. Again, nobody else to work around. So being able to look at the partnerships you want to create versus the ones you think you need, try and really focus in on that right fit customer, and then help yourself by building that out into how many of those relationships do I need to make to meet my goal? Because there's going to be some cost associated with new partnerships. Not that it's expensive, but you want to plan it out. And again, you want to have that touch point system where you're really focusing on how can I how can I entice this person to give me a chance? And then once I do get the chance, how do I really make sure that I exceed their goals and start with a strong partnership? And I wanted to give you one example, guys, and I'm just gonna stop sharing this. One example that I wanted to share is I met a um, this is probably 8 years ago. There was a new architect came to our area. He was doing some smaller projects, but was starting to do some cool stuff and starting to work with some of the builders that we did work for. And I reached out to him just via email about having a lunch. Um, he's quite a bit younger than I am. We went for lunch. We had a great conversation about architecture and landscape in the Muskoka area. Um, and we left that lunch that day, and we didn't talk for probably a year. A year later, we ended up on a project together. He had designed it. We were coming in to do the landscape. We had a great process. We had great communication throughout. Happy customers at the end. Another 6 or 8 months went by. Nothing from him. We got together again. And anyway, this partnership, even though it started then, it didn't really get going for 3 or 4 years. And now I'm a partner with him in our landscape design company. We do 7 or 8 projects a year together. We do some spec building together. Um, so you just never know where these partnerships lead. And I think the story is more to just say, you know that these relationships may take some time. I was on a call, potential coaching call earlier today, and the gentleman I was speaking to is really feeling frustrated about he's been putting in the effort to have the lunches and have the coffees, and he's just not seeing any results from it. And I think some of that is just market and logistically where he was. Um, but I kept saying to him, like, it will pay off. It will pay off. These things take time. Um, but with that, open for any questions or ideas that you guys might have. Um, thanks for joining. Hopefully it was helpful. Ryan, what do you got?
I just a quick question touching on the relationship you have with your builders. Do you offer a discount when you're working directly with builders, or if you're working as a sub under a builder and they're uh, going to be the POC to directly with the client? Do you offer like a contractor rate, quote unquote, based on those scenarios?
Not often. Not often. I mean, my whole pitch to the builders is that we're going to come when they want us to come. We're going to be done when they want us to be done. And, we're going to do as good a job to make them look as good as we can. And honestly, I would say that in our new builds, probably 70 or 75% of them are direct with the owner, not
Right.
necessarily with the builder. So we probably only do like 5 or 6 via builders throughout the year. Um, but they're great relationships. And, we do get asked often about discounts or, kickbacks, so to
Yeah.
speak. And I always say the same thing. We don't do that. But if you need some new steps put in at your house, or you want to add some trees to your front yard, or you need it resodded, more than happy to help. So we've got a lot of builders that we work with that we have certainly done work for over the years, and they haven't gotten a bill. Um, but yeah, as far as discounts go, we we don't. Um, what we do push though, because we do have builders that do want to have the workflow through them for one for control, but also for markup.
Yeah.
Um, but we're quite happy to talk to the customer and explain to them the benefits of it going that way. Because I'm sure with your business too, like there's a lot of communication that happens between the builder and the contractor. And there's
Absolutely.
multiple sub trades and staging areas and delivery schedule and concrete and cranes and um, there's a lot of cost involved with the communication
Yeah.
and
Could be a
making it
nightmare.
efficient.
Could be a good situation if you're doing it right.
That's right. That's right. And I think for customers too, it's also an easy sell because in our area anyway, a lot of the bigger projects are done on a cost plus. So customers know like anything to make it more efficient, even if
Right.
I got to pay a markup, but it's going to run better.
Yeah.
it probably makes sense for them financially as well if
Awesome.
everybody's just a bit quicker. So yeah,
Cool.
that's kind of how we handle it.
Great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.